Hello, a big welcome to Leicester Law School. It's great that you've been able to join us today. I want to make sure that you really have an opportunity to ask all the questions that you need to have answered and get lots of information. So we've got a real pace to get through. My name's Edward Jones. I'm the admissions tutor for the Leicester Law School. It's me and my team who decide whether to offer you a place. Now, in this particular session, I'll introduce you to the degree courses, what you can do at Leicester Law School, and explain why I think it's a great place to study. Now, that lasts a little around about half an hour, so there will be some time for questions at the end, or you can ask questions as we go along, and I'll give you some prompts and some ideas about the kind of questions that you could ask. I'm accompanied by a current student, a final year student called Kasim, who's here. He can answer your questions and he'll give you some student insight too at the end. And I'm also accompanied by my colleague, Emma, who is our student recruitment officer. She will be able to help with those questions too. So please don't feel like you need to wait with any questions. Get them into the chat and we will gather them all together at the end if there's any that I need to address. Now, I hope that you have a chance to visit or will visit the law school or will watch a video that we have online on our website to show you around. You can meet us, you can meet students, and if you've applied and you've got an offer from us, then we'll invite you to an offer holder day too. So you can actually see the library, the law library and the courtroom where you can practice your courtroom skills. The law school is right in the middle of the campus, right next to the main library that you can see on screen now. Now, Leicester Law School is one of the largest law schools at a university in the UK, with about 1,500 students and 80 academic staff. So we've got really strong links around the world. And we also have a culturally diverse student body, which makes it a great place to be. We're actually in the top 20 of the law schools in the UK, and there's like well over 100 law schools in the UK. We're actually 15th, which is better than the university as a whole in the Guardian League table this year. But so we're absolutely fantastic, top-notch, top-ranking law school. Employers recruit from Leicester Law School, not just because of our great ranking, but also because of the great legal skills that you can learn here. We have an employability rating that's slightly higher than the excellent rating of the law school as a whole. It's actually 95% in the law school. Those graduates were employed in further studies 6 months after graduating, which is fantastic. Now, we focus on working towards positive change in the world. We've got a global outlook, so we're very focused on sustainability. And we're really interested in making the world a better place for everyone. We're fourth in the world, in the whole world, and out of the UK universities for working towards United Nations sustainability goals. On the social side, we also have one of the best student unions. We are actually the best law school in the UK for pro bono. That's where you give free legal advice and support. Now, you'll be joining us at the completion of a huge programme of investment, so I do hope you will have a chance to come and see and find out more about the law school and the surroundings. We've got a fantastic student union, the only UK university with an O2 nightclub on a campus, and the O2 nightclub, Kasim will be able to tell you much more about that, I'm sure. Now, that student union has had a major refurbishment, and I'm sure you will enjoy seeing the results when you come. You can also see the new accommodation that's really close to the law school. Now, one of the reasons why employers really like Leicester Law School students is that the combination of research-inspired learning and professional practitioners means that you get the best of both worlds. You learn how law applies to real-life situations so that you can easily put it into practice, and you also learn about how the law works and how it does not. You'll be studying law in a way that really helps you think carefully, imaginatively, and to articulate those thoughts clearly, rationally, and sensibly. Now, this can be very refreshing for some students after school, where you might have had to learn about things and other people's ideas, but here you have a chance to think. For example, with colleagues in medical law and bioethics, you could think about how should a medic decide whether to treat one person over another if there's not much money to go around in the National Health Service like there is now. You could cover difficult decisions like this, thinking about whether there should be some rules that apply generally, some specific laws on that, or just guidelines that guide the medical practitioner. So there you're thinking about, how do we frame the law? What should it be? Or should it even be a law? Now, you'll also learn the art of persuasion. You'll learn how to express yourself clearly when arguing, presenting and writing. You'll explore and discuss what kind of society we should live in and what rules should be imposed to deal with everyday life and unusual or traumatic events. These are really massive and important issues, so I find it thrilling, and I hope you will too, to think about these issues when they're at the heart of law and politics and the control of people's behaviour, like in criminal law. These are fundamental issues over what makes someone a human, what makes them free to go about their business, their ambitions, their desires, or not go about those particular things, the constraints that are on them. So you'll find out how we focus on effecting social change through development of government policy. We'll look at the role of judges in making swift changes that affect many people's lives. And you'll also be able to engage with activities such as courtroom advocacy at the law school. That will help you prepare for your professional career. Perhaps also learn how to do much more than be lawyerly, but you'll actually learn the practical skills. You'll learn about how to act ethically, how to uphold high professional standards of communication and advice, and how to manage effective teams. All of these are highly relevant to many careers, not just solicitors, barristers, the police, probation, government and politics. So you don't have to want to be a lawyer to do a law degree, but you certainly can if you do a law degree. So let's focus on the law side of things first. If you're interested in becoming a solicitor or barrister, you can do this by completing a 3-year degree as part of your preparation for the professional exams. Alternatively, if you have a degree already, then you may be eligible for the graduate entry LLB or the JD Pathway 2-year programme. So if you're looking to qualify as a solicitor in the UK, you would then do your law degree, or you can do a non-law degree and do that conversion, like the 2-year degree. You then do your professional course. Now, solicitor's qualification is changing. You need to complete the solicitor's qualifying exam before you become a solicitor in England and Wales, and the LLB degree will do a lot of the preparation for this. After your degree at Leicester, you're guaranteed a place on the professional training courses, such as those that are run by our partner universities. If you achieve a decent degree grade, the University of Law, BPP or Barbary, they offer you access to their courses. Now, you might decide to stay local and go with our local university that offers a similar kind of course, De Montfort University. Now, the kind of course that you do will depend on the options that you complete during your LLB. You might do very little preparation for your professional stage with us, and then you might decide to do a nice, long, good, thorough training of, say, 6 to 9 months with those other universities. Or you might decide to do some optional modules that are focused on preparing you for the solicitor's qualifying exam and be able to do a much shorter course, such as the one that only lasts for 10 weeks with Barbary. You also need to complete 2 years worth of work training, so you get paid for that, and you complete the second stage with some practical tests that confirm your competence to act as a solicitor towards the end of that 2 years worth of work. Now, if you want to be a barrister, it's simpler. You complete your degree, complete a bar course called the BPTC or the BPC or the BTC. All of these are the same. They're either a training contract or a training course or a professional course or a professional training course. Different providers call it different things, but it's generally the bar course. And that takes about 6 to 9 months. You then become a barrister, and to become a fully qualified barrister, you need 2 periods of 6 months work that we call a pupillage. Now, we support you in getting the training period and the pupillages with multiple layers of support. There's specialist legal careers tutors that will ensure you know what to do, at what time, and how to make a good job of your applications and how to perform well at assessment centres, the special process that's used for law applicants. Now, to help you meet employers and understand their requirements and expectations, we'll help you with events that are run by the careers tutors within the law school. There's the career development service. There's also a student-led career hub in the student union. There's specialist law careers tutors who will really help you prepare for your future career. So you've got this multiple layer of career support to help you head in the right direction. Now, there's networking opportunities within the Leicester University Law Society to help you meet the professionals that are working in the areas of interest to you too. So there's a lot to think about and lots of opportunities at Leicester to make sure that you head off in the right direction for you. Now, the next thing that I want to look at is the special arrangements that I mentioned, like BPP, ULaw and Barbary. Our careers tutors and I have negotiated preferential arrangements for Leicester students to progress to the next stage with the professional course providers. These also come onto campus to help you prepare. For example, graduates are guaranteed entry onto the SQE preparation course with the University of Law, and that includes some exclusive scholarships and discounts that are specifically designed to recognise the brilliance of Leicester students. And we have similar schemes with the other providers. Now, guaranteed entry is not allowed for the bar course, so the lead providers of this course have to offer their places through a selection process. They have to check that you have the competence to be able to be a trainee barrister. And because we have that really close connection with our local university as well as the national providers, they support Leicester students, know that Leicester students are great and are likely to do really well on the bar course, and they support you to prepare you for that interview and assessment that has to be done before you can get a place on the bar course. And the careers tutors there to help you with applications for scholarships for the courses too. Now, a law degree is a great gateway to a career as a solicitor or a barrister, but it's not the only path that you can choose. Employers really value Leicester graduates because of the skills that you'll learn. You'll look at how to gather and interpret complex information from a wide range of sources, improve your verbal reasoning, analysing problems to create solutions, writing concisely and precisely, and very importantly, presenting your views and arguments orally with confidence. So with those skills, any options that are available to you go way beyond the legal professions. Many law students from Leicester explore lots of different careers. So the skills that you build while you're studying at the University of Leicester will make you an attractive proposition to many different types of business. There are just a few examples here. So maybe now pause and think about whether you have any questions about the University of Leicester, the city, about LLB accreditation in other jurisdictions if you're currently watching from another country, or your future careers. Now, I also want to introduce you to the law school itself, and here you can see our courtroom. You can develop your confidence in a real court setting. So that means when you get into the real courts, you really feel at home. Our court just feels like the kind of court that I practiced in when I was a in-court solicitor. So what are we all about then? Well, we're a supportive community of experts with a global outlook that will allow you to form the identity that you want to with a very wide range of options. Now, it's not just about optional modules. You also have masses of options in terms of the pro bono projects that you can be involved in. I think we have more projects than any other law school in the UK, and loads of societies with a focus on law and other related disciplines. And that all comes from us being a very large law school. Now, the work that we do is research led. Our experts write the books, so you'll be working with professors and solicitors and barristers and judges who are the experts in their field. You'll get real world experience from problem-based learning within your classes and real problem solving for real clients in pro bono, or even in the Leicester County Court if you joined that particular pro bono project. Remember that we're multi-award winning too. So now clearly you have a wide range of choices of course to choose from, and it would take me a long time to get through all of this. So please do visit our website to have a look at the particular course structure. I know that you may well have questions about that, and if you do put some questions in the chat, I'm sure that Emma and Kasim will be able to help. Now, essentially, the differences between these courses come at the options stage because all of them include the 7 essential subjects that are recognised as necessary to work as a solicitor or barrister in England and Wales, and therefore in other jurisdictions that require that kind of law degree. So you can see some students studying in our historic law library here, and the compulsory subjects that are included are all there for you. Now, what makes Leicester's 3-year law degree special when we're looking at those essential subjects is that when you study analysing law and law, justice and society, you're doing things in the Leicester way. Many degrees include a module about the English legal system. We don't. We have a global outlook, so you learn not just about the English legal system, and actually I have a point about that where I would object to other universities calling it the English legal system, because actually it's the English and Welsh legal system, and with a name like Jones I have to make sure that I'm focused on the Welsh as well as the English. Now, those rules were created by old, mostly white men. Now, you do learn about that at Leicester, but you look at law across the world and its effects on all sorts of different people to help you develop ideas of what justice means and what legal systems should be, not just what the old white men thought it should be. You take that further in your first year and you learn about concepts of criminal justice and the impact of law and administration of justice on everyone in society, thinking about why certain crimes exist and the impact of criminalising behaviour. Now, unlike many law degrees, that means that you can leave criminal law until the second year. So I know lots of people love criminal law, so you get a dose of it in your first year and you can take it to an advanced stage in your second year. Most law degrees do criminal law in the first year and that's it. Now, our head of school and other experts are the writers of the best criminal law textbook in the UK. So we save this until you've got the skills to analyse the most complex issues in criminal law. But you still can learn it as a very interesting topic in the first year. So all of those appear in all of our LLBs. And if you do the 3-year LLB rather than the graduate entry, then the law options list is vast and you can use this really to form your own identity. You don't have to choose groups like this. I just want to give you a flavour of how these might suit you. So for example, on screen here, you can see a collection that focuses on solicitor's qualification. That's great for you to get a practical, professional perspective. There's other suggestions on screen, so you get a wide range of options. You have plenty of time to decide what you might like to do with freedom to change your mind. And you can get in touch with us through our email address that I'll show at the end if you want to know more information about a particular module, and you can see them on the web as well. Now, if you've got aspirations for becoming an expert researcher, politician or academic, then there's some theoretical and reform-based modules there for you. There's some that are really focused on really very vulnerable people. And a lot of students don't really know what they would like to do. So having a general focus on modules which make you a very attractive employee for the future can be a great way to go ahead and plan your degree. As we've got a global perspective, there are options for that too, if you have as well. And aspiring barristers, there's a very clearly relevant set of options for you that you can see on the right-hand side just now. Now, don't worry if you don't know what you want to do. Look for a law school with the widest range of options, and you'll be able to decide what you like in your first year and in your second year. And then at Leicester, if you're doing the 3-year ordinary LLB, the final year, free reign, free choice across the optional modules. Now, if you're really focused on crime, punishment and rehabilitation, you can complete an LLB that does this. And the options there are really wide ranging. So I've suggested the kind of things that you might like to do out of the law options, and then you can choose criminology options as well. Basically, you do about 25% of your degree as criminology. You can do a little bit more if you want, and 75% or a little bit less as law. In law with politics, you get an LLB too, so that qualifies in the same way previously, and that's a frequent route that political advisors, politicians follow as the way forward into their career. And you can see there's a lovely vast range of options to choose from there, some really interesting things that I would really like to have known about on my own degree. I did an ordinary law degree, but you can go for a wider perspective if you wish. Like I said, don't worry if you're unsure what you want to do, just look for the widest range of options. You don't need to choose now. The law with a modern language, that's easier to explain, so I don't need a special slide for that. Basically, you do 25% language classes, 75% law, covers all of the requirements. If you're interested in the English law and French law degree, where you do 2 years in Leicester and 2 years in the heart of the European project in Strasbourg, then you'll do your English law for 2 years and your French licence and master stage 1 in Strasbourg. Now, I'm often asked how you learn and how we teach. We use the pretty typical approach on any UK law degree of having lectures and tutorials, sometimes seminars, so that's more discussive classes that I'll come to in a second. But here at Leicester, you will have particularly small groups in comparison to other universities around the UK. The lecturers will introduce the topics that you study and examine complex issues in their area of research or practice, and you'll have tutorial teaching in groups of around about 12 students, sometimes up to 15, and seminars maybe a little bit larger, but really only around 15 to 18 students. That might be because we just need a few more to make 2 teams that are going to fight against each other in an argument or a courtroom battle kind of thing. So it's in the tutorials where you examine the detail. Having small numbers of students in those allows your voice to be heard, allowing you to check what you need to check. There are also some larger groups like workshops where we have a free-flowing discussion and exchange of views and ideas with more students than that, but they're few and far between. It's mostly your lectures and your tutorials. Now, you'll learn using real-life problems with problem-based learning, solving problems for clients as if you're in practice, and examining the need for changes to the law as well. So at Leicester, you're getting the best combination of the expertise from professional practitioners like me and research experts like our head of school, who's the textbook writer for that criminal textbook that I mentioned, Professor Sally Kidd. Now, we offer one-to-one support where that's needed too, so we all have office and feedback hours when we're guaranteed to have time available for really small meetings or one-to-ones. These even run online as well as in our offices, so you have the choice to stay at home and give us a call. And when you can visit us, you'll meet more of my professorial and professional colleagues who are all working together to effect positive change around the world. The diversity of perspectives is brilliant to work with. We've got the research experts advising on law reform, advising government even, and we've got textbook writers as well as the professionals who know exactly how things work in practice. Now, altogether, you'll be supported by that community of experts and have endless opportunities to collaborate with professionals and fellow students. Now, I'm often asked questions about exams and assessments. Suffice it to say that it's not all about exams being sat in vast halls. We tailor assessment methods to suit the particular subject. There's a wide range of different types of assessments. For example, where legal professionals need to have knowledge at their fingertips to give answers straight away, then an exam style question that you might take at home or in a limited period of time, returning your submission online, that's quite frequent. There are other modules where there's lots of research that's needed. So we have courseworks where you'll conduct research over about 4 to 6 weeks, and some replicate professional practice. So you might have to turn around it quite quickly within a few days. All designed to maximise the chances of success for the module, with training during the programme to make sure that you know what to do. So think about any questions that you might have about modules or assessments, and I'll get on to the skills and pro bono that we'll look at. Now, don't worry if you don't have a lot of skills already, there's loads to do when you're with us. You can develop your research skills in the Harry Peach Law Library, that's especially for law students. You can hone your advocacy skills in the new moot court. You can experience and improve your client handling skills in the Legal Advice Centre. We have a clinic on campus where we give advice to local people, and we do it online too. So you could be, like today I was advising somebody in Milton Keynes, with some students who have assisted on that. We can even do it around the globe now that we're online. There's also regular networking events and careers fairs, and work experience opportunities with practitioners are often awarded as prizes in modules. There's competitions too, so that you can practice your interviewing and advocacy skills, negotiation and mediation. We compete against other universities, locally, nationally, and across the globe. There's loads to do at Leicester University Law Society. It was judged to be the best law society in the country a few years ago, and we are the best for pro bono this year. You can see the kind of events that the Law Society run. There's a wide range of sub-societies, including those which cover parts of the globe, like the Canadian Law Society and Pan-African Lawyers Society, or ones that cover legal practice, such as IT, media, intellectual property in our Technology Law Society, and the Sports and Entertainment Law Society too. The Law Review is a journal writing society, great if you're looking to get into legal journalism or become an academic. Now, there are 15 pro bono projects, actually I think it might just have gone up to 16, as well as the Legal Advice Clinic. There are just a few examples that I've shown you on screen just now. It would take me far too long to go into all of the detail, but have a look at that website and you'll see the full detail. Basically, you can advise clients, raise money, support research into injustice, including on death row in America. You can get experience in the actual Leicester County Court. You can support vulnerable people both legally and practically, and help people understand what their rights are, such as in street law. I'm often asked about the year abroad. At Leicester, you do that in your third year if you decide to do it. You don't need to decide before you join us. That would make your degree 4 years long. So you can study law and other subjects which might, say, focus on culture, history, or the environment in your chosen country. And I've put on screen some recent destinations for you to see. So these are the countries where you could potentially study a whole year of law. Often the modules are taught in English, even in places like Sweden and in Hong Kong. The tuition in some countries is in the local language, such as in France, Italy, or Spain. But you can prepare before you go by improving your French, Italian, or Spanish with the Languages at Leicester team. So look that up on the internet and you'll see the kind of thing that's involved there. And you've got 2 years to prepare. So I hope if that's the kind of thing you're interested in, you will be very glad to hear that the tuition fees are significantly lower. They're around about a quarter of the normal fees for your year abroad. So if you've got any questions about those things that are on screen, get them down. I've got a few things to say, and then I'll tell you about applying. Now, whatever support you may need, our welfare experts, personal tutors and career tutors are all on hand to help you at every stage. The law support team are highly experienced support staff who will make sure that you get the support that you need with your study or your personal life. We have both student and professional mentors for students generally, as well as a team of mentors for each of the main modules on your degree programme. So come to the law school, get in touch with us, and you'll be able to find out more about that or ask questions in the chat just now. So we've got students, staff and professionals from outside of the university who all come together at the Leicester Law School to support you on your journey towards your chosen legal future. I mentioned employability earlier. Where are we? There we go. it's really the combination of the theoretical, problem solving, professional skills and networking that results in that brilliant success rate. So what I'm looking for is highly motivated individuals who are already working to find opportunities and develop the skills to suit their chosen career. It doesn't have to be solicitor or barrister. I'm really interested in the other things that you can do that you're interested in doing. So if you have questions about those things, get them in the chat. I'm going to talk about applying as my last few things. Now, I'm often asked certain questions about applying, so let's make sure I cover all of the usual queries, but do ask more if you need to. What kind of student am I looking for? As we think that the world is a work in progress, we're looking for students who have potential to drive positive change in the world through laws and the related disciplines. So that means what I'm looking for is people who have the attitudes and the skills that you can see on screen. So if you are preparing your personal statement right now, seek to show some examples of this sort of thing. Don't just say, I have resilience, I treat people with respect, or I really thrive with responsibility. Tell me about an instance where you did thrive because you were given responsibility or the obligation to lead something that was pushing you out of your comfort zone. Say the kind of hurdles that you've overcome and carried on despite a setback, not just I have resilience. So tell me about the personal thing that was really difficult for you that you've overcome. Now, it could be that you've got other things that are very great to talk about solving problems that are both theoretical and practical too. If this kind of thing sounds like you, I would really want to hear from you. You apply through the UCAS system, and our entry requirements are A levels of AAB or above. Although a good application at results day, I might accept a mix of A to B, so don't let a prediction of ABB or BBB put you off. Aspire for excellence. I might have a bit more faith in you than your predicted grades do. I do take into account an extended project qualification if that's something that you're interested in. Do ask me about. Now, increasingly, legal employers are not looking for A star, A star, A star. So we take into account the full range of factors, but we're not interested in forcing you to take the LSAT or the LNAT test. That really just tells me that somebody's got the money to be able to pay to train to pass it well. Now, make your personal statement count. It should be well written and well structured. And I've got some suggestions on screen that might help you. So maybe take a screenshot of that now. I think that's a great structure to follow. So if you've got any questions about applying or scholarships or what to do next, or have any questions that are specifically for our student ambassador, get them ready because I'm just about to finish. So overall, what I'm really looking for is somebody who's going to enjoy applying real life situations in a supportive community. We've got a wonderfully diverse and exciting city that combines the historic and the modern. You'll be looking at how the law works and how it doesn't, developing skills that are required for your future. We'll be getting you work ready. Now, overall, there's so much to choose from. I've had to cram it in, and I know that I've taken up more time than we had hoped for, but I hope that we've got enough time to deal with your questions and a chance to hear from Kasim as well. So if you want to speak to me, here's our contact details. Take a screenshot now. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that, Edward. We've had lots of questions coming in, and I think it would be great to answer some of these. So what we might do is, if you don't mind, sort of volley it between yourself and Kasim to answer some of these. So I'm just going to ask the first question here that's come in, which is, what are the placement opportunities?
Okay, so on placement opportunities, we have some exclusive placements with some of the big employers like Morgan Stanley's, an investment bank in London. You can work for 6 weeks during the summer.
10 weeks, Morgan Stanley 10-week internship.
10 weeks now, wow.
Yeah, that's one of the big exclusive internships here at Leicester is Morgan Stanley. There's also the Legal Advice Clinic has a internship type thing, right?
Yeah, so we often employ Leicester graduates to work in the legal advice clinic, doing real practical legal work. On my module, we have small placements, say of a week or a few days, as a prize within the module itself. We don't offer a year abroad placement, but if you decide that in your third year you would like to take a year out and you find a job that is productive for what your future ambitions are, then we can support you taking that year out.
Fantastic, thank you for that. We've had a question here. Can I still do the BPTC after I do law with criminology? Now, Kasim, I've seen you've answered this, but did you want to tag team again and answer this one out loud for us?
Yeah, I mean, I think what I said was correct in that you can do it as long as you have a qualifying law degree, which means all the core modules. Is that right?
Yeah. So basically, as long as you pass your degree and pass all of your modules at a level that is acceptable, then you will be able to continue to the BPTC. But we're not looking at just passing, we're looking at you doing really well. And in order to get onto a bar course, you do need realistically to have got some good grades. So getting the support through those one-to-ones and making sure that you know exactly how to deal with the assessments, and getting the practice with the events that are run by the providers of the bar course will mean that you stand a really good chance of getting onto the course.
Thank you for that. One for you, Edward, I think. Is graduation in psychology accepted for law application in Leicester? So presumably somebody who's done psychology prior to this, would they be accepted onto a law course?
Yes, so we would take, if you're interested in a 2-year degree course, get in touch with us, send us your qualification, and we will see if that's a qualifying degree. If it's not a degree, then we'd be looking at the 3-year course and we'd check whether your entry requirements are something equivalent. So we have lots of students who have done their first degree and come to SID. We roughly around about 150, 170 of our students have done a degree previously. You'll be in a very good position to do the LLB course. If you're just looking to do a master's course in law, then we can look at that as well. If you're looking at master's courses and with us today, then we don't demand that you have a law degree, but we can have a look at your results and we can give you a tailored personal bit of information. So send that to us and we'll be happy to help.
Thank you for that as well. Had some questions about BTECs and whether A-level students take priority over BTEC students for admissions. I can see you shaking your head there, Edward, and that's pretty much the answer we got. We've also got a question here as well about entry requirements for someone who takes 2 A-levels and 1 BTEC.
Okay, so we would make an offer that suits what your predicted grades are. For example, so is that 2 A-levels and 1 BTEC? So let's say you were predicted AA, D star, then we might make you an offer of, oh, that was a bad. Say if you were predicted AAD, then we would make you an offer of AAD. AA distinction. So we'd try and tailor it, but of course if you ended up with A, B, D star, that's kind of the same.
Fantastic. We have got a question here, and Kasim, you've partially answered this, and I think if we can hear from both you and Edward on this one. Are the abroad lectures in Greece taught in English or Greek?
I think they're most likely to be in Greek.
Okay, wonderful. And another question here, which is typically how long does it take to hear back once you've applied to Leicester about an offer? How long does it take to hear?
We currently have a few weeks turnaround, I think. Emma, we were looking at this earlier today, and it was something that there were very few that have been waiting for more than a month. So they're very, very busy at the moment because we're getting lots of applications in at the moment. I think we normally aim for 3 weeks, but I think it's taking a bit longer at the moment. So we don't stack them up, make some offers and wait to hear from them. We look at every application as it comes in and turn it around nice and quickly. Of course, we have the Christmas break coming up, so there will be about 3 weeks when our admissions team are doing nothing and the hundreds and hundreds of applications will come in. So January, things will probably take a little bit longer.
Amazing, thank you. We do have time for 1 or 2 more questions, so please do send those in. Whilst we're waiting, Kasim, did you want to give us a bit of an overview from the perspective of a current student here at the university, what it's like to study?
Yeah, I'd love to. So, I mean, I think Edward's done a really good job of covering most things, but I just wanted to highlight some of the support networks available to you and some of like what your daily stuff might look like. So initially you have the law reception. That's the tangible physical part of the law school building that you can go to if you have any issues with your course, issues with any sort of general issues in your degree, as well as sort of wider issues as well. They can highlight you, they can sort of like signpost you to places that might be outside of law. So that's a really good starting point if you've got an issue to go to law reception, especially like me, you prefer to actually speak to someone in person. So they're always there, they're really fantastic at getting student support. You also, as a first year, you can sign up to a peer mentorship program. So that's a program where you will get 4 emails every sort of like couple of weeks. You'll get an email from a second or third year student that basically highlights like, you know, stuff you can do in Leicester, stuff you can do in your degree, sort of just general settling in tips and some advice. And there's an option there for you to actually meet up with them in person if you needed further support, if you had further questions. So that can go as far as you'd like it to. You also have sort of like the law careers and career services. So it's not always like, you know, it's if you have an issue with your course, but more about if you have a desire to do something in your career. You have the law careers tutors and the career support service, which is more general part of the university, where you can get help with your CV. They'll talk you through your CV, talk you what you need on your CV. I've had a few of those meetings myself. They can do you an interview practice, so sort of a 50-minute practice interview to get you ready for, you know, a real life legal interview. And sort of other general, if you have careers inquiries, if you're kind of wondering what would I be good at, what should I do, all that support's available for you there. As you also, one thing you'll find is it's not quite like school with your tutors, in that they are sort of more maybe more open to questions and feedback, and they like to sort of engage in more discussion with the topic. And one of the ways in which it's reflected is in their office feedback and open hours. So every single lecturer here will have office open hours signposts on their door. And this is a time where you don't have to make an appointment. You can merely drop in and, you know, discuss something in a lecture you've not understood, discuss some feedback you've not quite understood, you know, ask questions about how you can further progress with your degree. And that's for every tutor. It's a very open, very informal system. It's nothing like it was for me at school. It's a lot more sort of open, and they are so passionate about their subjects that they teach. So they're actually very happy to get questions. They're very happy to further discuss subjects. As well as this, you also have a what to do at law school module that will run in your first year alongside contract law. That's a really good thing. So, you know, kind of gives you all the advice. It really lays it out for you, all the things that you should be doing here, all the things that you could be doing here, and where to find them. And again, like sort of in terms of more like student networks, you have societies, well, student societies. The Law Society puts on loads of sort of mixer events, ways that you can meet other law students as well. So if you were wondering about how you can sort of make links, make friends and stuff at university, that's one way you can do that. The Pro Bono Society as well, we have like an open mixer at the start of the year. I really do encourage you to get involved with student societies. I think it really does, or really can change how your degree goes. And Pro Bono as well, we offer legal experience. You can get legal experience with us, so it's really, really valuable stuff. As well as that, sort of in your tutorial groups, because your tutorial groups are quite small, sort of 12 to 15. I think often it could be even less than that. What you'll find is that you get to know the people in your tutorials quite well, especially as in first and second year, because you do the same modules. It's likely that you'll have the same people, or most of the same people, in every single tutorial. So you get to know them really well, which I think really helps with the sort of like progressive discussions you have in tutorials. So, you know, you might be a bit shy at the start, but towards, you know, the sort of middle or after a few weeks, conversations get really quite in depth as you sort of, you know, have a class of people that you know. Yeah, and sort of
I'm going to have to just interrupt you there for 1 second because I'm very conscious of the time, but obviously that's really fantastic overview, so thank you so much for that. We are drawing to the end of this, so Edward, if you had any closing words just to share with our viewers.
Get in touch with us if you need any assistance and help with your application. We'll be very, very happy to help. So thank you very much for joining us today. I just need to type one last word to one question about personal statement.
Thank you very much.
There we go.
Thank you very much, everybody. Take care and have a good evening. We have one other session at 6 p.m, so do head on over to those if you are interested. Thank you, Edward, also for your time. Emma, thank you very much. Take care, all.
See you soon.